Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday. It's the 10th day of November 2021. I hope this morning finds you healthy and COVID-free. I hope also that the needs of your family and yourself in terms of food, shelter, and clothing, as well as health, are being met. Blessings upon those that are working in the healthcare field, trying their best every day to save human lives. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage for us to keep our streets and our sidewalks clean. Blessings also upon those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings upon those trying to help deliver, recover, rescue babies, toddlers, children, teenagers, boys and girls, men and women from prostitution, child pornography, child molestation, and pedophilia, which are done through oftentimes human trafficking and sex slavery operations, which are organized and financed all over the earth. Curses upon the people that are doing these things. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There are 600,000 men, women, and children and families on the streets of the United States of America right now who don't have a roof over their head, and the numbers are getting worse. Millions around the world in the same condition. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom, and blessings also upon you if in a small way you try to help. There's going to be a basketball game tonight. The New York Knicks are going to be playing the Milwaukee Bucks. One of the things that I like about sports in general is watching an athlete compete at a high level. That's one of the things to me that causes me to watch sports. When I can get into a sport, because there's some sports I don't get into, but there's some because of the level of athletic ability being shown, the beauty and art of the sport itself. It's just really, I love it, and I get into it, and that's why I started this channel as really a hobby. My real thing, as you know, is to do the Bible studies. I'm also, of course, a working man, so I got a lot of things going on, but this is kind of a getaway to observe and watch and enjoy competition at a high level. Now, that being said, one of the things I like about the NBA right now, one of the changes that we're seeing right in front of us, is the NBA is becoming a league of parity. So one of the great things about professional sports, in particular professional basketball, is the players are competitive. Okay, I know they make a lot of money, but you can still see the human spirit of competition where they want to win. Okay, and so when you have that, plus the coaching and the technology in terms of coaching, in terms of analytics, in terms of all of these things is getting greater. And then you're getting, people that know that there's a formula, there's a template to win, and people are trying to create that template, is creating a situation where it's extremely competitive, and the league is filled with parity, whereby you had guys in their competitive nature trying to create super teams. You had the Celtics do it. You had the Miami Heat do it. LeBron tries to do it wherever he goes to try to create super teams to win championships. It seems to now be going back to the development of your players that you draft. Even Michael Jordan, who won 6 championships with the Chicago Bulls, they drafted Michael Jordan. They drafted Scottie Pippen. Now they added Dennis Rodman as the final piece. Okay. The Houston Rockets drafted Akeem Olajuwon. Okay. The Lakers got Shaq in the trade, but they drafted Kobe Bryant. Right. So they trying to build that way again with a template that counts with players that you draft and develop. The Milwaukee Bucks is such a team. Drafting Giannis Antetokounmpo. They traded for Chris Middleton, but he was a G League prospect when they traded, and they developed him. Okay. And then, of course, they traded for Jrue Holiday as that final piece as they developed, because Middleton and Giannis played together for 8 seasons, before they won the championship. Just like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was 7th year in the league when Scottie Pippen came, and then they won the championship, right? So now teams are following this blueprint that Miami's been following, that San Antonio's been following for 20, 30 years, that, again, Boston's mostly, except for the big 3 that they created, they were also following for a long time. And so this template is being developed around the league. Now you still got teams like the Brooklyn Nets trying to do the super team thing. But as you can see, the Brooklyn Nets are not running away with the league. They did not win the championship last year. And I don't think they're going to win it this year unless Kyrie Irving comes back. If Kyrie Irving comes back in January, they are the odds-on favorite to win. And the reason being is because Irving is definitely injury prone, though he's one of the most talented players, top 5 in NBA. Probably you got to give him an argument, the top point guard in the NBA. And so regardless of what you think about his off-court antics or whatever he has as far as his opinions, the man is talented. And so you can't sleep on him. And because he's injury prone, you bring him back halfway through the season. Now you got a healthy Kyrie Irving. They're going to be pretty formidable if he comes back mid-season. And that could happen. But other than that, I don't expect them to go all the way. Now, that brings us to the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks won the championship last year. And watching them play last year through the playoffs, I did not think they were going to win it all because they don't have that super team. And they don't have that super team. But what the Milwaukee Bucks do, which is boring, but if you love basketball, you'd like it. They're a grinded out type of team. They grind out win after win. And really, when you think about it, even super teams, it's an 82 game season is what it is. There's nights you just got to grind, right? And so Milwaukee did that last year and winning the championship. They just ground it out. And that's what they're doing now. Last night, I watched their game against Philadelphia 76ers. Both of those teams were grinding. And so Milwaukee was missing Chris Middleton. They're missing Brook Lopez, and they're going to be missing both of them tonight as well. But they had Jrue Holiday. They had Giannis. They had Connaughton and Nwora. And then what's his name? The boy from Duke, Grayson Allen had a big night last night. And so they were grinding. The game was going back and forth, and they just ground down Philly until they won the game. It was really close. So the Knicks are learning. Tom Thibodeau is teaching the Knicks to be that type of team, to grind it out every night, to be ready to fight 48 minutes every night. Now, the key of tonight is Julius Randle. Now, why? Julius, I told y'all, it was about a week ago. It wasn't even a week ago. When they lost to Cleveland, the press conference showed me he was embarrassed by how he played. Was it last Monday? I don't remember. There was a press conference. And I told you, as a father, I looked in his eyes and he looked like, he was talking, but his face said more. He was embarrassed by how he played and he wanted to play better. Well, the next game, against Philly, Julius came out and played some defense. Okay. Some people want to bring up who Philly was missing. Listen, you don't worry about who a team is missing. If you grind it, you just do what you do every night. Who's on the schedule is on the schedule. And that's who you got to be. Okay. So Julius came and he played some really good defense against Philly. And we ground out a win. Okay. Now, after that game, he had this smile like he just discovered something. What did he discover? I believe, and I'm hoping I'm right. Julius discovered that when he focuses on the defensive end at a high level, because he's got the ability to play defense at a high level as far as physical ability, the rest of his game will come and the team will do better because he's the leader. When he focuses on the defensive end, that's him being the leader, telling the team, let's get up and they behind right now. See? So I think he discovered that. I know that sounds crazy, right? But I think he did. And so I'm expecting him to come with that grinded out lunch pail mentality to play that defense on a high level tonight. Now, as far as the Kemba situation, I came to a conclusion yesterday. If what I'm saying is true, in other words, the premise, if my premise is this, Kemba's finished, his left leg is done, I don't have to worry about Tom Thibodeau pulling him because he won't make it through half the season. He played 43 games last year, below par for him in terms of the performance itself, even though he averaged 19. He missed 29 games in a 72-game season. You could see they're trying really hard. He's trying really hard to preserve his leg. But if the knee is gone, it's gone. Okay? So I'm not going to worry about Kemba. Yes, it may cause us to lose some games or get behind for sure because I checked. He is negative 44 for the season, while Derrick Rose is like positive 80, some crazy number like that. But the bottom line is that if the knee is going to give out, it's going to give out. Right? It is what it is. And so eventually that situation will take care of itself. And I'm going to tell you before we get to halfway point this season. Okay. Also, somebody brought up a good point. I forgot your name, so I can't mention you right now. I would, but, maybe Thibodeau, like last year, Thibodeau waited 20-25 games. Then he reevaluated what he was doing and came with a rotation that he liked. Prior to that, there were several guys vying for rotation minutes last year. Between injuries and between performance, he evaluated who his final rotation was and went with that. And so I think he's going to do the same thing this year. He's going to continue to push and evaluate. We get to game 20 on the 27th of November against the Suns. We have the back-to-back, 27th against the Suns and the 28th against Atlanta on that weekend. That's Thanksgiving weekend. Okay. And I think right after that, if not by then, right after that, you're going to see a reevaluation of what's going on, and then he'll make changes as necessary. So I'm going to wait until then and see what happens. I don't think Kemba's going to make it. I think you're going to see the Elfrid Payton treatment where at least Elfrid Payton, it was happening last spring. I think you're going to see the Elfrid Payton treatment as his knee starts to, he's not able to move. You're going to see him get less and less minutes. They're not going to treat him like a scrub because this is Kemba Walker, a verified all-star in NBA. So they're going to ease him out. I think that's going to happen. I'm not going to worry about it because that's what I'm saying. Because eventually you're going to see IQ. And if you remember last summer, Tom Thibodeau was on the sidelines of the Summer League game. And the only players he talked to was Obi Toppin to some degree, but really Emmanuel Quickley. He was spending time after every game with Emmanuel Quickley. Why? I think he already was preparing Emmanuel Quickley to take over the point guard spot. Now, I'm not going to argue with you whether Emmanuel Quickley is point guard or not. I don't think he is, but I don't care. He's better than Kemba Walker right now. Okay. And so what that would mean is that eventually what you will see is Emmanuel Quickley at the point guard spot. And Tom is going to stick with him just like he does everybody at the point guard. Once he decides that's his guy, that's it. Okay. And he likes it, IQ. So you're going to see IQ start at the point guard spot. You're going to see Quentin Grimes move into the second unit. And some of y'all worry about Deuce. Yeah, I hear you. Deuce signed a 2-year deal, and I feel like he did it because he was very confident in his abilities. And so the Knicks don't have but 2 seasons to figure out what they're going to do with Deuce. Eventually, he's going to get his time. Eventually, he is. It's this situation now where Kemba plays itself out. And that's what I'm saying. It's going to play itself out. Now, tonight, you got Jrue Holiday. And I was watching that cut last night against Philly. I watched it on TNT Overdrive or Overtime, whatever that is. And I was watching it from the background. And the thing about that, you could see the players like right on the floor, right? I like that. That Holiday's amazing, man. I mean, he's really something. When he wants a basket, he gets it. And his defense he's the best defensive guard in the NBA. Him and Marcus Smart right now, to me, the 2 best defensive guards in the NBA. And so, and even with that, and Maxey had a great game too. He was like 30 something points, 31, something like that. Maxey went off last night, but we're dealing with Jrue Holiday tonight. Okay. And, we're going to see what happens. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to see what happens, but we got enough depth so that no matter what happens in the starting unit, we got enough depth to grind this out. Okay. And so, we match up. I've always said we match up very well. Even when Milwaukee's at full strength, we match up well with them. They don't have a Brook Lopez. They like to play Giannis at the 5 now. I've noticed that. And so you're going to see Giannis at the 5. I don't know what Tom's going to do. He got a lot of options. Nerlens Noel is they say he's questionable. So it wasn't as bad as it looked the other night. He got a sprained knee. So it's not as bad. It did look bad though. His knee was going in the wrong direction, but, they said it's just sprained. Thank goodness. So he may miss tonight. I'm not sure about Mitchell Robinson. He's listed as questionable as well, from yesterday. I'm going to see let me see if they updated the injury report. Let's see here. It looks like, Robinson's day to day. So he's questionable, and Nerlens Noel is day to day. He's listed as questionable. So we might get one of them tonight. I wouldn't be surprised. You might get one of them tonight. and then you'll have Julius that could also guard the 5 spot. The thing about Giannis that makes him his most impressive athletic ability on the basketball court is when he brings the ball up and he sees an opening. He's very explosive. He could get to the basket. I'm not even joking, from half court with 2 dribbles. I mean, that's wow. I mean, he really could get to the basket and dunk it on you with 2 dribbles from half court. Okay. And so when he sees an opening, he gets there quick. So whoever's guarding him has got to be able to stay in front of him. Now, I think Julius is the best option for this right now because he has the athletic ability to stay in front of Giannis. On the low block, Giannis is tough too. I mean, he is the MVP and he is Defensive Player of the Year a couple of times, but I think if you get a Mitchell Robinson can handle him on the low block, but coming at a full speed, on a one-man break. That's what he does. It's after made baskets. He does it too. He'll come down. And if you're not ready, if you don't have a wall built, he's coming through. Okay. And so I think Julius is the guy that should probably be guarding him, but we're going to see what happens with that. There's no Chris Middleton, but you got to be able to guard your 3-point shooters tonight. Okay, you got to be able to guard your 3-point shooters. Last night, that's how they won the game. Grayson Allen, Connaughton, and Bobby Portis was hitting threes last night. And so, this is going to be at the Garden, everybody decides to show out against the Knicks at the Garden. It ain't like we got a real home court advantage in this situation, so we got to come to grind. And I believe they're going to do that. So here it is. It's going to be a grinded out night tonight. The Milwaukee Bucks, even last night, they really are a low scoring team right now without Chris Middleton. They're not scoring a lot of points. Last night they scored 118, but look, they get 101, then they had 113, 107. Well, and their defense is tough. They gave up 109 last night against the Sixers, but like I said, Tyrese Maxey went off. But then they had 94 against the Wizards. They held us to 98. They scored 98 against us. They held Pistons to 89. They're a grinded out team. What I'm saying is they don't always score a lot of points. They don't. Last night they had the 3 ball dropping, so that's why they scored a lot, 118. But they generally not scoring a lot of points. If we could guard the 3 ball, we should be in good shape, and I expect us to do that. I'm expecting Julius to play to focus on the defensive end and let the game come to him offensively. And so, I'm leaning toward the Knicks should be able to get us a win tonight. Last night, Philly, as I mentioned, Philly lost. And so what we got now, we are right now 7-4 in the standings. Philly is 8-4. Washington plays against Cleveland tonight. Washington is 7-3. Cleveland is 7-4. I think y'all know Cleveland is for real, right? Cleveland is for real. Yes, Rubio had a magnificent game Sunday night in the Garden. That's not going to happen all the time, but they got a team. Mobley's for real. The rookie's for real. I mean, I think Scotty Barnes is probably going to be Rookie of the Year to me this year, but Mobley is for real. He really is. He's a handful, as we saw. They got Sexton is out now with a meniscus tear. But you got, Garland still, and of course Rubio. And, so they're a good team. They're well coached. Bickerstaff is doing a tremendous job over there. So they're for real. And then you got Washington. I'm not buying Washington yet. I'm just not. I don't know why. I'm not buying them. I'm not worried about them. So I'm really hoping Washington wins tonight. That would make Cleveland 7-5. Washington be 8-3. Okay, fine. But we'll deal with that. Okay. Tonight, Dallas plays Chicago. Chicago's also 7-3, and they're doing very well. They just beat Brooklyn the other night. So, but Dallas is playing, and our boy Frankie is coming off the bench. Kid was raving about him the other night when they played New Orleans. Frankie's defense is he's in the rotation, and so he's really playing loose. And Bullock had the nerve. Well, Bullock said Frank didn't get a fair opportunity in New York, and he's finally getting a fair opportunity. That's what Bullock said the other night. Bullock started mess already. So they playing Chicago tonight. I hope they beat Chicago, because then Chicago be 7-4. Now, Miami lost to Denver, But Miami is the top of the pile in the East right now. So we have an opportunity to stay pace in that top 4, top 5 echelon right now. So tonight's a good opportunity to grind out a win at the Garden. It should be a grinded out win at the Garden against the Bucks. Hey, if our 3 ball starts dropping and we start, blowing them out, that would be great. But I'm thinking it's going to be a grinded out game. I'm getting mentally prepared to watch them grind with Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a grinded out team. Let's let Julius do what he do. And I'm not worried about Kemba. The rest of this crew is coming. I think we'll be all right. So, y'all, please, this is Hump Day. Enjoy your weekend. We will be back by the grace of the Most High tomorrow with a review of this game. Hopefully a Knicks win. Shalom.